the David, etc., where we was looking at these kind of, right, connection, right? This dynamism comes down like this. The Laocoon had this too, right? Right, this dynamism like this, right? And then eventually discussing the more complex movement like this, which was not just this, right? Which was the let's say a line that is used as an axis, gently curved, to along which the various segments of the body are connected, but also then how these individual segments kind of stemming from this central core kind of rotate different direction, creating a much more complex sense of movement and, if you want, narrative, right? So we could do this one here too, right? What is that? Here, right? And we would have here, beside this segment going this different way like that, we could also have this sort of gentle S like this, right? Here and here, right? So if I had to block in a synthesis of this form, would be this, right? And then this, like that, right? Plus this, of course, right? That. Well, that would be my stick figure, right? That would be my stick figure. So it's a first, let's say, a first quick assessment of the soul, if you want, of the pose, right? This doesn't need to be visualized when you, but sometimes having a quick thing like this on the corner of the drawing when nobody can see it, right, is helpful, because you think, oh, you're drawing stick figure, right? Well, it's not a stick figure, right? It's some sort of organization of the rhythms of rhythm and lines of action, if you want, of the figure, right? So blocking the cranium, right? Blocking the cranium right here, cranium as an egg, right? And then the facial mask here. So it's going to be not necessarily the skeleton. So we could block in the stereometric, the more advanced stereometric rendering for now, right? So here, at the level of the upper third here, I have the facial mask here, like this, right? So let's look at this for a second, right? When a block front is an upright egg, so I'm going to block in an egg in here, inside here. I mean, we could block this more, already more similar to the external form of the rib cage, but I prefer not to do that because then it becomes easier to add the muscular volume on top of this, yeah, and we're gonna have more control over this forming here, because it's a little bit complicated. The rib cage, it's a little bit complicated. A cavity here, it could be simply seen as if you have an egg here like this, right? We could slice a piece here, and this now becomes a flat plane without being the cavity of the rib cage, right? Because on top of this, we could block in the rectus abdominis, for example. So now from here, what we can do, we could find the iliac spines, right? These are, so this is very utilitarian. I can now block in the volumes, right? The volume of the external oblique, which could be done very essentially like this, right? Imagining that this is a little bit of a compression, and this is a little bit of a stretching. So here stretches, here compressed, right? I could do it like this, right? And then that's the belly, right? That's the belly. So from here, you see also how I start having this interesting connection of various anatomical segments, right? So for example, oh guys, let me know if I have to slow down. See what happens if I put in here. also a muscle, just for the sake of it. This is the sternocleidomastoid, right? The sternocleidomastoid here creates a continuity with the sternum. See that here? And I want the sternum to be a little bit bigger than the height of the costal arch. So this goes down like this, right? The sternocleidomastoid flows into the sternum. From the end of the sternum, I go down to the linea alba, it goes down to the pubic bone, like that. So I have, look at this, look how beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? Now that creates this nice continuity, and if I do here a volume here like this, right, more or less, for the abs. So I'm thinking now these are all volume, right? This is a volume here, right? There's a volume here, a volume here. When we get down to now here, the sides of the leg, right, from the iliac crest down to the trochanter, down, I bridge the gap that normally would be a two sharp angle, the side of the hips and the change of angle at the legs. I just kind of bridge them the two, and this is going to be pretty much the gluteus medius, right, connecting the two. So from here, right, from here now what we do, I have the iliac spine, right, and I want to subdivide the volume of the thigh into main groups of muscle. So from this point in here, I aim for a point which is about here in the thigh, right? Let's say the lower third of the length of the thigh, and I go down with the line like this. And that's the division between the quadricep, right, and the adductors. From here, I go along the inside of the leg, and then I come forward like this to the tuberosity of the tibia. What is the tuberosity of the tibia? Tuberosity of the tibia is about it's the same measurement at the patella down below the joint here. So this is a quarter of a head, that's another quarter of a head. So I go from here to here. That would be where the goose foot is. From here, I block in the malleolus here, the medial malleolus here, at the joint between, at the ankle joint. And I go down like that. See that? That is the tibia. So I have now, remember we discussed about this, did we discuss about this? The Cupid's bow, maybe in another class, right? No, no, in this class. So the Cupid's bow is this thing that appears during the Renaissance as a way of creating an aesthetic or reading the body aesthetically, right? And creating this connection that not necessarily functional, they're not connected with a specific anatomical structure. It's just that there is a flow, a continuity between this line here and this line here. And it's called Cupid's bow because it looks like a bow, right? Upper branch of the bow, handle, lower branch of the bow, right? So, so this now, the leg could become more cylindrical, right? More cylindrical like this. This could become also a little bit more cylindrical here, right? I add the volume of the calf like that. Still very, very essential, right? And then I have the tapering now here of the calves in the lower part of the leg, because that's where the muscle becomes tendon. That's the foot, right? Like this. So